Where do you get your genes from? You get one set from your father and one set from your mother. You can be homozygous dominant, which means that you only inherited the dominant genes for a trait. You can be heterozygous, which means that you have the dominant and the recessive trait. You could be homozygous recessive, which means that you're only carrying the recessive genes for that trait. So if we look at flowers that are going to produce peas, so we're looking at pea plants, these parents are heterozygous. They're carrying a dominant trait and a recessive trait. And when we do a Punnett square for a monohybrid cross, which means that we're looking at one trait, we're going to look at seed color. When we cross these for both parents being heterozygous, we're going to show the options for each offspring based on this Punnett square. So if the dominant trait from the mother and the dominant trait from the father show up in the offspring, then the offspring will be homozygous dominant and show a yellow seed color. If the recessive trait from the mother and the dominant trait from the father come together, then the offspring will be heterozygous and show a yellow seed color because it will show the dominant trait. It will carry the recessive trait, but it will not show up. If it gets the dominant trait from the mother and the recessive trait from the father, it will be heterozygous. In the same situation, you will see yellow. The final option is if it got both of the recessive traits from each parent. Then the recessive color will show of green. And this is homozygous recessive. So the genotypic ratio, which means the genes that are actually present, the offspring, for every offspring, has the same chances. It has one chance of homozygous dominant. It has two chances of heterozygous and one chance of homozygous recessive. The phenotypic ratio, the phenotype is the physical expression of that gene, what we actually see. So the phenotypic ratio for this is 3 yellows to 1 green. In a dihybrid cross, we're going to look at 2 traits. So we're going to take a homozygous dominant male and cross it with a homozygous recessive female. And when we look at that Punnett square, their offspring are all going to be heterozygous. But we're going to see the dominant traits. So yellow is the dominant color and round is the dominant shape. When we take 2 of these and cross them in the F2 generation, we're taking these heterozygous individuals and we're going to cross them. When we look at their gametes, their eggs and their sperm, there are 4 different options. They can be homozygous dominant, they can be heterozygous one way, heterozygous the other way, or homozygous. So when we do our Punnett square and we bring these together, our phenotypic ratio is 9 to 3 to 3 to 1. So it looks really pretty when we draw it because we go like this. Oops. So see, I can make a little triangle. Looks like a little like a boomerang. Okay, so all of those are going to be yellow and round. These are going to be green and round. These are going to be green It's squishy. This is going to be completely homozygous recessive, which means that it's green and it's wrinkled. It's not going to be nice and round like our other ones over here. So our phenotypic ratio for a dihybrid cross is going to be 9 to 3 to 3 to 1.